Hello and welcome to One Foot In. I am Juliana, the resident medium here, and today I want to talk to you about life, death, and coming back, or what is most commonly known as reincarnation. Hundreds of millions of people, regardless of their religious beliefs, do accept some form of reincarnation, and it's not exclusive to humans. Of course, we know that all creatures uh, live, die, and come back. Even plants. They die in the winter and they come back in the spring. And today I want to talk to you specifically about our beautiful creatures that we share our homes and our hearts and souls with, our pets, our dogs, cats, birds, fish, even little bunny rabbits. I have a new pet bunny. And there have been thousands and thousands of accounts of individuals who have struggled with the loss of a pet and were given signs or had psychic experiences that verified that those pets came back in the bodies of other pets. I saw a statement online recently that said someone believed that our pets this is our new baby bunny Dewey, that our pets are our spirit animals, if you will, but that our pets are the souls of children that we never had in this life, and because they loved us so much and wanted to be with us, that they found the next best body they could to be with us. And that's why we call them our furkin, or our fur babies, because they really are to us like children. And I have had experiences of beloved pets reincarnating and coming back to me. When I was around 14 years old, and I was gifted a dog, a gorgeous white German Shepherd named Sarge, from my parents. We had a beautiful and loving relationship, and I adored him. And he was everything to me. He slept alongside me in my bed, and we walked and walked, and he made me feel protected, and I cared for him. And one day when I was at school, he was tragically and horribly abducted from our yard. My parents had put him out in the backyard. In the morning, he was abducted and never seen or heard from again. And I barely recovered from that. And there was so much meaning behind that loss. And as years passed and I found the truth, someone came forward and admitted who abducted my Sarge and why. It just really, it was tragic all the way around. But I had a nagging feeling at that time that he would come back to me, that I would see him again, and I would beg and pray to the universe, please bring him back, please find him, please bring him back. And that was the theme of my relationship with my furkin, my fur babies. It started with Sarge and begging the universe, don't take them, and if you do, bring them back. And they answered my prayers. And some years later, I was in a store, an office, and they had those public bulletin boards, and there was a little newspaper clipping of the most pathetic little white Staffordshire Terrier. She was pure white like Sarge had been. She had black eyes, but a pink nose, and you could just, my heart just leapt for her. And I took the newspaper clipping and I called the sheriff's department and I made an appointment and I saw her and I brought her home. And she needed me and I needed her. And I knew she was Sarge coming back. And I can't really put my finger on how I knew. I just knew that she was. And I had 6 wonderful years with her until a tragedy befell her, and she passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. I was so devastated, and I once again prayed to the universe, bring her back. I'll do better. I promise I will be a better parent. I'll spend more money and more time, and I'll just do everything different, and I'll just be a perfect dog parent. Just please, I beg you to bring her back. And eventually we did adopt another dog, a blue heeler named Rue. And Rue was a small puppy when we adopted her. She was about 12 weeks old. And we raised her. She was a remarkable beast indeed. Stunning and beautiful and more intelligent than most humans that I knew. And one night, I had to get up. It was really early in the morning. You know, that twilight time, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The house is dead quiet and dark. Everyone is sleeping, it's silent. And I had to get up to use the restroom. And the house that we lived in, the hallway, it was our room, the bathroom directly across, and then a spare room in the middle. And so when you walked out of our room, you just crossed over the hallway to go to the bathroom. But then, to the left would be that spare room. And one night, I had to get up and get a drink of water and use the bathroom. And I stepped out of our door, and a glow from the spare room caught my eye. And I thought, oh, the lamp must be left on or something, right? And the glow kept changing. It kept getting more intense and more intense. And the glow started to take a shape. And that shape was a dog. And it was in the doorway. And the shape in the doorway had a very distinct line to it, and that matched my Daisy, my beautiful, beautiful pit bull who had died tragically, and I had begged the universe to bring back to me. And I stood there just stunned, because I could tell from the profile that it was her. She had an incredibly unique outline to her body. And I said, Daisy, honey, is that you? And I took a couple of steps, and her big giant rat tail started slamming on the wood floor in the doorway of the spare bedroom. And I knew it was her because she looked like a giant rat. And that tail would slam, slam, slam. It was obvious. And so I stepped closer and closer. And as I got closer, I reached my hand out slowly. And my hand made contact with the warm, silky softness of a doggy's head. And I thought, well, this is crazy. What is going on here? Daisy, how did you get in here? How did you get back here? What is going on? And I kept my hand atop her head and took my other hand and very slowly and carefully reached to the light switch, and I turned on the light switch. And when I flipped the switch, my hand was above my new dog Rue's head. Now, Daisy was an 80-pound purebred Staffordshire Terrier, albino white, with a pink nose, very little hair. She did look like a giant rat, and she was several inches taller than Rue, who was around a year old at that time. A little blue heeler. Didn't top off more than 45 pounds. Short and stocky, long, curly, tri-colored hair. Her tail didn't slam like that. She had long hair on her tail, and my hand was several inches above her head because I had laid my hand upon Daisy's head, which was much higher up. And that's when I knew that the universe had answered my prayers once again and had brought my Daisy back. My Sarge had gone, and they answered my prayers by bringing Sarge back as Daisy. And then when Daisy left and I begged forgiveness, I begged them to bring her back, they brought her back as Rue. Now, fast forwarding to last week, Tuesday, May 13, 2025. Sorry, had to pause to grab the bunny. Tuesday, May 13, 2025. Today is Monday, May 19, 2025. Last Tuesday, I was absolutely gutted when my beautiful dog, Fiona, 14 years old, 12 of those years with me, I adopted her when she was 2, she passed away. She had passed away after years and years of chronic, near-fatal illness and infections. She had been adopted by me in 2013. She was 2 years old. She was half Staffordshire Terrier, half Whippet, shelter dog, just like Daisy was. She had very, very serious health problems. She only had one heart valve. She had a blood clot disorder, Demodex mange, and chronic skin allergies to grasses and foods, and it was just horrible. She had a condition where her anal glands and her feet would fill up with blood and then explode. And she'd had multiple surgeries and rushes to the emergency room, and she always seemed to come back. And she became sick a week or so ago, and we took her to the vet, and we knew that, she might have recovered from the infection, but it wasn't going to change the fact that in her aging, she had lost 40% of her hearing. She had lost the sight completely in one eye and some percentage in her other. She could barely walk. We had to carry her up and down the stairs. She would just eat and sleep. And we knew it was time. And we made the decision, and she's gone. And of course, I've been grieving terribly, and we knew she was in the twilight of her life, and that's why we have this little guy here. We knew we never, ever wanted to have another dog. Not that we don't love dogs. Of course we do. And I would give anything to have her back at this moment if she could. But we, at this stage of our lives, it's hard to keep up a dog. They require extensive veterinary care, lots of food. They have to be walked in all kinds of weather, day and night. You have to make accommodations if you want to travel with them, dog sitters or kennels or places that will let you take them with you. When we would go on vacation with Fiona, of course, I spent my entire vacation taking care of the dog because the dog still has to be cared for, and that's okay. It's not her fault. It's not their fault. So we decided we couldn't be without a pet. We knew that she was coming to the end, and in March we adopted this little guy because they can travel well. You don't need to make a special accommodation for them. They take very little care if you care for them the correct way. And all of the crazy expenses that people put out for their pet rabbits are as a result of how they're caring for their pet and not doing certain things that have to be done to keep their teeth up and their nails up and different things like that. They don't need to be spay or neutered. They don't need to have mates if they are doing well on their own. And this little guy, Dewey, is highly intelligent. And so we adopted him in March because we wanted to have a life in our home to help us transition and overcome the pain and loss of Fiona when her time came. And her time came last Tuesday. And of course, initially, I'm begging and pleading for the universe to bring her back. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'll be a perfect dog mom next time. Please, please, please. Just bring her back, bring her back. And of course, that's not possible. And then I realized what I was doing was I was asking the universe to do again what I'd asked so many times through the years, to bring that spirit animal back to me. But I have many spirit animals. And what transitioned from there was a fear of, if we don't ever get another dog, if we don't adopt another dog, how is she going to come back to me? And so I'm waiting for the universe to answer that question. She may remain with me in spirit form. And she may be there when it's my time to cross over. Who knows? She may come to us in the form of a rescue bunny. I don't know. We don't know. We never know. Never say never. But when you experience the loss of a pet, it's so different from the loss of a human. It's still gripping and soul-crushing and painful. And in the case of Fiona, where our lives literally, without exaggeration or malice, intention at all, our lives revolved around her. With her blindness and deafness, furniture had to stay where it was. We had to strategically place no-slip rugs so she wouldn't slip on the tile. Her dishes had to be in the open and in bright light. Everything we did, our schedule, our sleep schedule, our routines around the home, everything in our lives revolved around Fiona. And now that she's gone, there's this huge gap that we're trying to fill. And we're crushed. Our souls are absolutely crushed. 12 years. Now, I did have a beloved turtle I had for 26 years. His name was Morty, and he passed away from COVID. He actually got a respiratory infection. The vet said he had more than likely passed of COVID as the culprit, and he was with me 26 years. My family has always been very, very in tune to their animals and their pets, and have had many pets for so many years, and unnaturally long lives, unnaturally lots of pets. Like my sister, when she passed, she had 13 cats. My dad had 9 dogs. Some of us border on hoarding, we don't. Yes. So we have this little guy, and he has been a gift from God. He has helped us this past week in particular, because he's funny and delightful, and as you can see, very affectionate and very much wanting to be with us. And that's okay. How will I navigate moving forward? How will I live without a dog? How will Fiona come back to us, because I never want to be without that soul. But time will tell. And someday I may get up again in the middle of the night and find her in a doorway or a stairwell. I might, in the quiet of an early morning, hear her feet tapping on the tiles. I might see a face on a bulletin board and know. But no, you're not alone. If you grieve the loss of your pets as you would a human, there are many, many places that you can go. There are support groups. You can contact crisis centers and so on. If you're not getting the support that you need and the uplifting you need from your family and friends. And know that your spirit animal is with you no matter what, whether they're in form in your home or in spirit, that everyone has at least one spirit animal, and that animal will always be with you no matter what. And you can pray them back into the material world. But sometimes it's best to let them be spirit, and let them be a guide to you on the other side. And until next time, I love you all.